And I'm the co-founder of Projekt.
Okay.
When I started Projekt 25 years ago, one of its founding principles was honest and direct communication with gamers. When Projekt Red, the game development part of Projekt, was born, it added something important to that principle, the ambition to make the best games in the world. It became our mission and something that guided us up until now. Based on that legacy of genuine and honest communication, you've trusted us and pre-ordered our game. And despite good reviews on PC, the console version of Cyberpunk 2077 did not meet the quality standard we wanted it to meet.
Okay.
I and the entire leadership team are deeply sorry for this, and this video is me publicly owning up to that.
Okay.
Please don't fault any of our teams for what happened.
Okay.
They all are incredibly talented and hardworking. Myself and the board are the final decision makers, and it was our call to release the game.
That's what we thought.
Although, believe me, we never ever intended for anything like this to happen.
Okay. That's the first red flag.
I assure you that we'll do our best to regain your trust.
Okay.
Now I'd like to tell you how the situation looked like from the inside. Cyberpunk 2077 is huge in scope. And I'm not only talking about quests or things you see at first glance. I'm talking about a multitude of custom objects, interacting systems, and mechanics. In the game, everything is not stretched out over flat terrain where we can make things less taxing hardware-wise, but condensed in one big city and in a relatively loading-free environment. On its own, this is a challenge, but we made it even more difficult for ourselves by wanting to make the game look epic on PCs and then adjusting it to consoles, especially old gens. That was our core assumption, and things did not look super difficult at first. We knew the hardware gap, yes, but ultimately, I think that time has proven that we've underestimated the task. To give a concrete example, and the main culprit, we had to constantly improve our in-game streaming system for all-gen consoles. Streaming is responsible for feeding the engine with what you see on screen, as well as the game mechanics. And since the city is so packed and the disk bandwidth of all gens is what it is, it constantly challenged us. Every change and improvement needed to be tested, and as it turned out, our testing did not show a big part of the issues you experience while playing the game. As it turned out, our testing did not show a big part of the issues you experience while playing the game. As we got closer to the final release, we saw significant improvements each and every day, and we really believed we would deliver in the final Day Zero update. Now let's talk about the review process. We started sending our PC review keys in the first days of December.
About this. Okay.
On launch day, December 10th, we hit the ground running with a really good start on PC. While not perfect, it's a version of Cyberpunk we are very proud of. At the same time, we're fighting for quality on all-gen consoles till the very last moment. And every extra day of us working on the Day Zero update brought visible improvement. This is why we started sending console review keys on the 8th of December, which was later than we originally planned. This all happened while working from home with all the challenges resulting from the COVID-related restrictions. A lot of the dynamics we normally take for granted got lost over video calls or email, and we took that hit too. Now I'd like to tell you about our plans for the future and present a path for...
So was that the whole section that they're going to cover about the not so great reviews? Well, let's finish.
Cyberpunk 2077 on consoles and PC. We have already released 3 hotfixes improving the game, but that's just the beginning. Our ultimate goal is to fix the bugs and crashes gamers are experiencing across platforms. Please expect bigger and smaller patches on a regular basis. The first update will be dropping within 10 days, and it will be followed by another, more significant one in the following weeks. We will, of course, continue to work on the game in future updates and improvements beyond that. Okay. Our big plans for supporting Cyberpunk in the long term did not change. As for the free DLCs, our initial plan was to deliver them just after the release, much like we did with The Witcher 3. We decided to focus on the most important fixes and updates first, and we'll be releasing the DLCs afterwards. Expect more information in the upcoming months. For those of you playing on next-gen consoles in back compatibility, you can still expect the free next-gen update for Xbox Series consoles and PlayStation 5 arriving in 2021. We are aiming at the second half of the year. I'd like to end this video by assuring you that we treat this entire situation very seriously and are working hard to make it right. The guiding principles of our company are still core to what we do. We still want to make amazing games and have an open communication with you, our players. For now, our immediate focus is to work hard on making sure you enjoy Cyberpunk 2077 regardless of platform. Beyond Cyberpunk, we have many plans for the future, which we'll share more about when we're ready. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video.
Okay, so some real quick thoughts on the Cyberpunk released update today. First of all, we'll start at the beginning. Good. I like that the top of the company is taking accountability. I like that he straight up said it was their decision, not the developers, that caused the issues. That was good. That was good. The not so good. I felt like it was one of those apologies where they said they were sorry and then said all the excuses why they shouldn't be like really sorry. I heard a lot of stuff in there like because of this, because of that, because of this, and it's kind of like that's cool, but I feel like the video would have been a lot more impactful if you just would have owned up to it. It felt like one of those apologies where they're like, I'm sorry, but and I don't think that was probably the best thing to do. Also, I don't think it was intended, but I feel like there was a little slight at the QA in that video because he said that they didn't see the issues in testing or something along those lines. Maybe it was like a translation thing, but there's no way you could have played that game on consoles and not seen the issues. It's just not possible. So it was kind of strange to hear him be like, we didn't see that. Or I mean, like you can turn the game on and look at it and you pretty much know within 10 minutes of playing that there's pretty big problems. So that was a little bit strange. I kind of wish they would have gone into that. Also, the weird thing about the review stuff, it does make sense that copies went out a bit later because they wanted to work on it for the absolute last second. But that doesn't explain why CDPR was telling reviewers to use stock footage. And there's a lot of things in there that I felt they should have definitely gone into more, and a few specific things they should have addressed. Because there was a lot of negativity around the way that they handled those reviews. And I felt instead like it was just they kind of glanced over it and then gave us a bunch of reasons, kind of like it could have happened because of this. I don't like that was a little bit weird. And again, the fact that it kind of hid the port issues is really suspect. And when you tie that in to the other stuff, it makes it even more like you guys need to address this directly. Like not kind of dance around it. Like you kind of need to really go at this and re-inspire confidence, because that's not great. Yeah, somebody's in chat just said, to sum it up, sorry, but not sorry. It kind of felt that way a little bit for some of the stuff. Now, I do want to say it's awesome that the management owned up to it. That's cool, especially that guy. Like, that's, props. I also like how he specifically said, like, don't get mad at the devs. Because that's what we've been saying the whole time, too. That's what most people have been saying. So, yeah. Also, it's a little... I'm kind of torn on this next thing I'm going to say, because one half of it is, yes, you guys bit off more than you could chew trying to get this amazing game onto old gen consoles. But the second part of it is it's completely your fault for trying to jam this amazing game into next gen or old gen consoles. Like it sucks, absolutely, but maybe you shouldn't have released it on old gen consoles. Maybe there should have been a time when you just kind of went like, let's not do this and just deliver quality products on next gen consoles. So it's kind of weird to kind of use that as an excuse for the stuff that happened. I mean, granted, they kind of have pulled the plug theoretically. I mean, it's no longer available on the Sony store and stuff, but I don't know, man. It definitely, that was a little bit strange. Now let's talk about the second half of the video. I'm a little concerned that he said that the Cyberpunk release on PC was something like that they were really proud of, and then went to go on to address like the bugs and stuff without talking about any of the major features that were missing. He also specifically said the patches were going to like address old gen consoles and bugs and things like that. I didn't hear anything about the police system, the AI, like stuff the community's asking for, the roadmap. I mean, he did specifically say there would be more improvements coming to Cyberpunk and they were sticking with it. Maybe that's what I'm talking about. But I do wish that he would have been like, we hear you all. We want to finish the game too, and we're going to be working on that. There's a part, I think there's a part of the community, me in there as well, that really loves Cyberpunk. And we know that like portions of it are some of potentially like the best game ever made. And we want to see the entire game catch up to that portion because we know it can. So when we get these concerns that are they just going to like patch the game so it's fixed and then move on instead of turning this diamond into a rough, into a shining jewel, it's a little concerning. I would really love to hear them be like, no, we're going to finish this game. Like we're going to put in all of this stuff. The police system will be fixed. The car AI will be fixed. The city will become immersive like we told you it would. Like there's all this stuff that's not in the game that I understand why they don't want to like come out and say that now with all this other stuff going on. But I will say, I think a lot of people, including myself, are kind of worried that they're just going to like patch it up to the point where it's acceptable and then kind of move on to the next money-making venture. So I just love for them to like at some point address that and just be like, no, we are going to finish this game. We're going to put in the big things that we told you would be in the game. It's going to get done. Again, maybe that little line that he threw in there saying like, we're going to continue putting improvements and stuff in the game. Maybe that was specifically towards people like me, but maybe it wasn't. That was, it was only like a line. And then the fact that also the next gen console update from the look of the roadmap isn't coming out until like the end of the year. I don't know. They need to No Man's Sky it. I agree completely. That's the big thing I want to see from this project. I want to see them No Man's Sky it. I don't want to see them smooth over the rough edges and call it a day. I want to see them put in all this stuff they told us would be in the game. Make the game the incredible project it should be. So yeah. Okay, real quick, and we'll go ahead and let's go ahead and keep this in the video, Red, if we could. Chriso, the editor, just linked an official FAQ from the video. So let's take a quick look and see if maybe any of my questions are extrapolated upon in this FAQ. Okay. Here's the video. Why was there such a gap? Okay, we know about that. What was the main issue? Did you test old gen consoles and keep tabs on the experience? We did. As it turned out, our testing did not show many of the crashes you experienced while playing the game. That's a little bit weird. What have you done since launch to make the game better? We know about that. To be fair, they did put out some pretty important patches. That's good. What are you going to do to fix things in Cyberpunk 2077? We're focused on fixing the bugs and crashes players are experiencing across every platform. You can expect more in the way of patches, both small and large. This is basically like a script. Yeah, this is basically a script. Okay. We will continue to introduce updates and patches to give all players across all consoles and PCs a better experience with the game. Yeah, okay, so this is basically just the script. It looks like this is the script. So yeah, I guess at the end of the day, I'm really hoping that we're gonna see this game get realized. This unfortunately was not. This was good. I'm glad they said something, and most importantly, I'm glad that console owners are getting this. I feel like this was more as an apology and stuff to the console owners. This video we just saw was them kind of playing catch up from a technical angle. I want to see one of these videos from the content angle. I want to see not necessarily an apology video, But I want to see a video where they're like, okay, that video was about us making this game playable on consoles, getting everyone a good experience and fixing the bugs. This video is telling you how we're going to turn Cyberpunk from what it is now into what we all know it should be. And this is how we're going to do it. So I do feel like this video is kind of like a good start, but I hope it's not the end as well. Anyway, those are my thoughts on this. I'm still cautiously optimistic about Cyberpunk. I still absolutely love what I've played in Cyberpunk. I still think it has major problems and has a long way to go. Yes, I'm in Cyberpunk. But the only reason that I'm this kind of on it is because I'm in Cyberpunk. Because I think it can be one of the best games that can ever grace this planet if it's done properly. I want to see Cyberpunk get realized, and I know that the developers work their ass off to see that come true as well. So I will continue to be brutally honest about how I feel about this stuff, and I will continue to be vocal about how I feel about this stuff. And again, this is a good first step, but I think I speak for a lot of us when I say we want to see more. This is Gary the Prophet signing off. See you next update.